Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you all here for another 11 Yanks live stream / hangout. It's fun to do this. I feel like it's been a long time since we've done one of these. I think the Mexico game, the stream after the Mexico game was the last time we did one. So good to see you all here. Good to see everybody in the chat already having a good time, chit-chatting about stuff. Man, we have so much to talk about already. It's just opening weekend of the European season, and so many of our guys performed so well. So it's been super awesome, guys. And I have a feeling we're going to be in for a very fun season with the amount of players that we have. Prepare your weekends, guys. You're not going to have a chance to do anything else on weekends but watch soccer. So that's going to be cool. How's everybody doing? EP, Lou City fan, Dan W. All right, Michael Freeman. How did Rex J do this week? I was waiting for that one. Roberto M, Ray Puma, Ken, Jackie, Shane, Kevin, Sergio Aguirre, FXL. Lots of good questions in the chat, guys. So what we're going to try to do, obviously I'll answer chats as well, but going to talk about 5 or 6 players that really impressed me over the weekend. We're going to talk about some transfers, some transfer rumors, some pending transfer. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Christian, Al, yes, I'm doing a lot better. Thank you. Frank, D-Mac, Evan, good to see all you guys. Man, I miss doing these live hangouts. Hey, Nick. Yeah, I missed this. I'm in a hotel right now in York, Pennsylvania. So I'm as far away from home as I can possibly be, but we're driving back tomorrow. So, all right. Well, that's hot. Okay. Too hot. Yeah, guys. So a ton to talk about. Wanted to start off talking about Joe Scally. I thought Joe Scally was really good. Debut for Borussia Mönchengladbach against Bayern Munich, the best team in Germany and some of the best wingers in the world, playing out of position at 18 years old, and he did really, really well. So that's awesome. What I really liked about him was he seemed more technical than I remember him. The last time I'd seen Scally was at the under-17 World Cup back in 2019, and he did not impress me at all. I was very surprised when, Mönchengladbach paid up to $7 million for him because I didn't think he was worth that. I still think he's probably a right back, but what I really liked about him was his defending. He wasn't perfect. He still got beat a couple of times, but overall, he was really good at holding his position and being a very good defensive left back. I also thought he, did well surging forward a couple of times and beating guys on the dribble, which I don't know if that's really his game long term, but he has that athleticism in him, and that's pretty cool. Now it's just one game, guys. We can't overreact, right? We can't be like, he's our new starting left back. We have to see more of him. Okay. Lots of players can play well for one game. But it's encouraging signs, right? Encouraging signs. He'll probably be shifted back to the right at some point, which is where he'll probably end up long-term. Although having, fullbacks who can play both sides is awesome. So yeah, we'll see how he does, but I was really impressed with Joe Scally. Manage them. Well, Evan says, why do you see him on the right? Well, he's a right back. He's right-footed. He's played right back his whole life. It's a little awkward when a right-footed player plays left back sometimes. But yeah, he is a right back. That doesn't mean he can't play left back, sort of how Serginho Dest does, but he's a different kind of player than Serginho Dest. A little more defensive, a little bigger, probably better in the air than Serginho. Maybe a little better defensively than Serginho too. So, all right. Efrain Martinez says, what about that young kid that went to PSV from Dallas, Pete? Yeah, that's Dante Sealy. Some people are high on him. Some are not. I have never really seen him play apart from a few outings at Dallas, substitute outings. He looks quick. He looks interesting. Probably still has to work on a couple of aspects of his game. Just mentally, sometimes he looked like he would check out of games, but he's still very young. And 2 years at PSV could do a lot of good for him. So I think it's a good move. Look, go challenge yourself, right? Go. As long as you're out there and you're working hard and you're trying to challenge yourself and you're getting training at a high-level club, why not? So let's talk. We talked Joe Scally. The second one I want to talk about is Christian Pulisic. I know some people think that his game was not great outside of the goal. I think the thing with Christian Pulisic that we have to remember is we all have memories of, Real Madrid, or the time he scored a hat trick against Crystal Palace, or the time he, tore Liverpool's defense to shreds, right? And so that, because we remember those moments, those are the moments that we judge him by, right? And so when he's having a game that's not at that level, we think it's a bad performance. But that's not actually the truth. You have to understand, Christian Pulisic is still was inconsistent last year, right? And he might still be inconsistent this year too. And it's okay if he has a performance where he scores a goal and wins a couple of free kicks, but isn't otherworldly. We have to get over this. If he isn't the best player on the field, he had a bad performance, So I actually thought Pulisic did pretty well. He was always eager, bright, and inventive on the ball. All right. He was always running at players. He was doing the same thing in the midweek game against Sevilla as well. Or was it not Sevilla? Villarreal? Well, it was Sevilla. Yeah, it was Sevilla. So, yeah, that's okay, though. We can't always expect Pulisic to be playing at this hat trick a game levels. That's just not who he is, And sometimes I think fans overreact a little bit to Christian Pulisic having a quote unquote bad game, when I don't think that's a realistic expectation of Pulisic. It was Villarreal, Jared. Thank you. Sorry. Carlos de los Rios. I've been bugging Pete about what he thinks about Folarin Balogun. Would love to hear his comments live. So I did finally get to watch Folarin play. I didn't think he was very good. Maybe he's a poacher. Maybe it had something to do with Arsenal's performance on the day. But I didn't think that Folarin showed me much of what he can do. I think it was partly a lack of service, but I just wasn't impressed. Now, I'm not ruling him out or saying he's not a good player. He just didn't play well on the day. Couldn't hold up the ball, wasn't very good in combination. It was off-ball movement, very static. So I have to keep watching him. I don't know if I'm not, making a judgment on him from 60 minutes that he played. But yeah, there's definitely more to see with him. The third guy I want to talk about after Pulisic is Gio Reyna. Now, those of you who know me and have been watching the channel for a long time know that I have been asking, begging, pleading, promoting, advertising Gio Reyna playing in the middle. And it's good to see, Borussia Dortmund now playing him there, because I think that is where he's going to be best for the US as well. So I really like to see it. It's only been 2 games. He scored a goal. He did not have the perfect game. There were moments where he could have been better, but it was a very hectic, chaotic game. And I think he will be fine. He just has to learn the particulars of the position. He's still just 18 years old. He played really well last week against Wiesbaden. So I was really impressed with Gio Reyna's performance overall. It wasn't a perfect performance, but for an 18-year-old to be handed the keys to Dortmund's midfield, and an American 18-year-old no less, is pretty unheard of. Now, hopefully, the rise of Conrad also means we have so much depth on those wide forward positions that we can actually move Gio Reyna inside for the US. But we will see. We will see what happens with Berhalter, because Berhalter seems to want to use him as wide forward. So I don't know if Berhalter is ready to do that yet. I hope so. And I hope that Gio Reyna's performances continue to encourage Berhalter to at least give him a shot to play there, because he's a huge upgrade on Sebastian Lletget. So, all right. Okay, the fourth player that I thought was impressive was Josh Sargent. Now, he'd only been at the club for 4 days, right? And came on in their last, I think it was not very long. It was about 12 minutes. But he looked bright. He looked inventive. He was playing on the right wing, which I don't think he'll be there long enough. I don't think he'll stay there in the long term. He'll be Pukki's backup, and Pukki's not going to play every single game, I don't think. But I think that he didn't look scared of the moment, and that's what you want, right? You're going the first time in the Premier League. Sargent looked like he belonged in those 12 to 15 minutes. Now, of course, it was, small sample size, and we're going to need to see more from him, right? But overall, I thought he was good. I thought, you could see the quality, you could see the confidence. The big problem with Sargent was the confidence in the past, right? It's not that he didn't have talent. We knew he had it. But up here, he never looked like he really believed in himself, And that's when Josh Sargent is confident, you see the Josh Sargent who played at the Under-20 World Cup and the Under-17 World Cup and lit it up, right? And that's the Sargent I'm hoping to see at Norwich. Because if he comes in confident, there's nothing Josh Sargent can't do. He can be a 15-goal-a-season forward in the Premier League easily. So hopefully he gets more time at center forward. Hopefully he grows into it and hopefully continues to learn. I'm just glad he's out of Bremen. People are complaining about Norwich. I'm sorry, but a player playing in the Premier League is always a good thing, in my opinion. So, and then the fifth player that I want to talk about is Conrad de la Fuente, who was really good again today. Had a sort of a hockey assist, but more importantly was how he had it. Takes the ball out of the air, beats his man 1v1, and then slips in the number 8 who puts the cross in for the goal. But overall, every time Conrad got the ball, he looked threatening and dangerous. He probably should have had a penalty, early on in the first half, but he looked bright. And that on the heels of getting an assist in his last game. This guy's 19 years old, right? So huge, or 20 now. I think he's 20 now. But still, to be playing at that level and to look like one of the best attackers on the field, that was awesome from Conrad. And again, and now you bring Conrad into the senior team and you've got Pulisic, Conrad, Weah, and Aronson who can all play wide. It also furthers Gio Reyna's case to play in midfield, Manuel, I didn't watch Tanner Tessmann play because I was getting ready for this. But from what I heard, he did okay, apart from, not scoring the penalty. But Venezia won. It's his first game, so we'll see how he does. From what I heard, somebody else who watched the game told me that he played as a defensive midfielder. So you never know. Back up to Tyler Adams at the 6 at some point. He's definitely got the size and the athleticism for it. Does he have the ability to read the game, to close down, to build from the back, to protect that back line, to delay, to anticipate, all those qualities that you want out of a 6. But if anybody here saw him, tell me what you think, because I didn't actually get to watch him, All right. Mexico news. We'll talk about the dual national situation in a little bit, guys. It's a very controversial issue, and I feel like we've talked about this many times before. So I'm not going to dwell on it for too long, but I will give some thoughts on it. A lot of people saying, Tessmann said he was box to box. Okay, well, that's good to know. Hey, Beto, how you doing, buddy? Kevin, Pete, he looked very comfortable. So he played as an 8, not as a 6. My bad, guys. I didn't watch it, so I don't know. A lot of people here saying he's played more of an 8. That's good. If he played well, I'm happy to see that. It's Coppa Italia, first game. I have a feeling Venezia, he's going to be doing a lot of defending this season. So we'll see how he does, even if he is playing as an 8. Okay. DMAC, reading my mind. Emergence of Conrad means Reyna takes the Leggett spot. Yes. Make it happen, Greg. Make it happen. I don't think it's going to happen, DMAC, sadly. I think, Leggett is one of Berhalter's favorites, and I don't think he's going anywhere right now, at least. But let's see. You never know. You never know. So, Fallen Phoenix. Everton rumored to offer $2 million for Hoppy. Yeah, that's not an accurate number. I can tell you guys that my sources have told me it's $2 million is not the accurate a number, but that Everton are very interested in Hoppy. Yes. So it's just cool. As far as people are asking, some people are saying, he shouldn't go to Everton. I disagree with that. If we want to be a top 10 team in the world, if we want to compete with the best in the world, our players have to be playing at top leagues. So I would rather he be fighting for minutes at Everton and forcing himself to improve, right? He's going to have to try to beat out Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's going to have to earn minutes. It's not like a goalkeeper where you're just going to be sitting on the bench. You can get still plenty of minutes. And, Hoppe is a guaranteed starter in the two Bundesliga for Schalke, right? I don't know if that's going to be enough, though, to really push him to be at the top of his game. So, Birdman, Sargent is not a winger. Never has been. Okay, he can play there and do a job there, but that's not his best position. Okay, and it's got nothing to do with Zardes. He's been a forward his entire life, in the youth career, everything. He's always been a forward. Yeah, so this business of he's not going to play, I disagree. I think he will play. I think he'll get minutes at least, and in those minutes, he'll have a chance to earn more minutes. And that's what playing at the high level means. It's like Christian Pulisic. He's not starting every game, but he could probably go to Everton and start every game, but that wouldn't push him enough. You want a guy to be in an environment that is just maybe slightly above them. And so they have to constantly be pushing themselves in training every day to stay at that top level. So I think Hoppe going to Everton would be great. All right. So yeah, Hoppe's one. A couple of other guys who we're still waiting to hear on moves. Matt Miazga possibly going to Alaves in Spain. Miazga hasn't really progressed in 5 years in Europe, right? He spent 2 years in Holland, flopped out in France, has been kind of in the championship in different places, still erratic, still inconsistent, still kind of immature at times. I think Spain, the La Liga, will be a good level for him. It'll be a good level for him to push himself, right, and to mature. He's only 26, so it's sort of, now or never for Matt Miazga, right? I hope. My light keeps falling. Hang on one sec, guys. Babe, can you help me fix the light? Yeah, so I don't know, just find a way to make it stand. Thanks. Yeah, so I hope Miazga gets to go to Alaves. He needs to up his level and prove himself and test himself. And now he's got competition. Oh, it's a done deal already? Says Martin Wells says Miazga was confirmed today. Yeah. Oh, he's going to Rayo Vallecano? I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, Miazga still has a lot to prove, and he's got a lot of competition now with Mark McKenzie and Chris Richards and Miles Robinson and John Brooks. Got more to prove there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Miazga. The other ones I'm looking out for are, where does Cameron Carter-Vickers go? He's still at Spurs. Not going to be there, obviously. I know that Newcastle were interested in Cameron Carter-Vickers. Again, for him, CCV, I think he has to go above Championship. He's been in the Championship for a long time now. So Premier League sounds good to me. Go test yourself. Go push yourself. We know he can play comfortably in the Championship. What can he do up top? Albus Bumblebee says, what's in the cup? Red Solos are never just water. Yeah, this is tea. I don't know if you guys can tell, but yeah, it's tea. Just like a throat coat kind of tea to keep my throat comfortable while I talk. Tack, just saw your message, Pete, at the gym pretending to work out. Good job. What are you on? Are you on the rowing machine, Tack? Are you on the what's that one called? Where you do the arms and the legs at the same time? What's that one called, babe? Elliptical. Yeah. Oh, God. Michael Garrison. Matt Doyle was an idiot. Already saying the Sargent move was terrible because he didn't start yesterday. Also, 2 strikers in the Prem would be great. Well, no surprise there, Matt Doyle. Yeah, of course he didn't start yesterday. They have Pookie starting, and he was only been there for 4 days. So let's relax. Yeah, Matt. No, I think it's a great move for Sargent. Getting out of Werder Bremen was a very good thing for him. So, boom. All right. Doyle wanted Sargent at Inter Miami. Yeah, of course he did. course he did. Amazing how much Sargent's stock would have gone up coming back to MLS. He would have been world class. So, all right. Okay. So those were the 2 transfer rumors. 3. CCV, Hoppy, and who was the other one? Miazga. The other one I'm looking forward to, there's 2 more really, is where is Eric Palmer Brown going to end up? That's a big one. And then another one is Reggie Cannon. There was rumors of him going to Nice. We'll see if that ends up happening. I hope it does. I think Reggie Cannon needs to be playing at a higher level than, relegation fodder in Portugal. So, yeah, I hope that works out, that he can end up going to League 1. Okay, Nabuto. 11 Yanks. What happened to Azcona and Uli Yanez? They were getting a lot of attention in March, and all of a sudden they're pretty much irrelevant. Oh, yeah, Tack. Tack's reminding everyone to hit the like. Come on, guys. 300 people here. Smash that like button if you haven't already. So Azcona is not getting much playing time for Miami, Nabuto. He is, by the way, the reason he was getting a lot of attention is because he performed so well at the Olympic qualifiers for the Dominican Republic. And he's a dual national, open to playing for both. I think he wants to play for the U.S., understandably. But until he gets more playing time for Miami, it's going to be hard to evaluate him. The only reason I'd say he's irrelevant is because he's not playing, and he's still very, very young, so give him some time. Uli Yanez is finally coming back. So he's playing for St. Polten, I believe, in the Austrian second division, getting some sub minutes. So good to see him back. He's had a rough year or 2 with injuries and personal issues and other stuff. Sorry, guys, my throat is already giving out a little bit. Might not be as long on the stream today, guys, as I usually am. Just because I don't think my throat can go this whole time. But yeah, we just got to be patient with Azcona and with Uli, Development is never linear, guys. It's not always just straight up like this. You have to, young players, sometimes are going to be up and downs, injuries, life stuff. I mean, look at us. Life stuff happens, it gets in the way. And, in a high pressure, high intensity game like football, even small things can get in the way. Okay. All right. Jordan Alford. I hate Chelsea, so I'm always conflicted when Pulisic scores. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, the beauty of not having a European club to root for is I don't care. I don't care if you have an American playing. I'll try to watch, but I don't have any loyalties to European clubs. I don't have loyalties to any clubs, honestly. The USMNT is my club. So, yeah, that's the only thing that really makes my heart beat and my veins bleed is USMNT. Elijah Dixon. Any MLS players you think that need to make that jump to Europe ASAP? I would say George Bello. George Bello should go. I think he's at a level where he's sort of improved all he can with Atlanta, and he needs to be pushed at the next level, So, yeah. Definitely George Bello for sure. Miles Robinson should go. If Miles Robinson, I think, has the capacity to go and to play, I don't know about top 5 level just yet. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely Championship, Holland, Belgium, Portugal, anyone like that? I think so. We had a comment from a guy who played with Sargent. Who was it? Oh, yeah, Roman 18. I've played with Sargent since we were 8 at Scott Gallagher. Before you went to Florida to stay with Team USA. He never once played any position besides striker. He is not a winger. Agreed, Roman, but that must have been so cool watching him grow up now and seeing him on TV playing at all these high levels. That's pretty awesome. Jonathan Gomez is not in MLS, guys, but he's somebody I think should head out, get out of USL especially. I'm trying to think. Caden Clark, I know he's going in January, and I think it's time to go for him. I'm just not sure that the Red Bulls is the best fit for him right now. And I don't mean Leipzig. I mean New York. I still think that they've got some issues in that team to figure out, and those issues don't really suit his development. So Chris Mueller headed to Hibernian in the Scottish Premier League. Yeah, it's sort of a lateral move, or even worse. I don't think the Scottish Premier League is very good. But hey, getting out of his comfort zone and trying to push himself. So good for him. James Sands, maybe. I can see that's a possibility. All right, guys. As far as the dual national situation, I'm going to be brief about this because we've discussed it a lot. Yeah, and I don't have much more to add on. I'll say this. We've been losing these two guys, right? Last two were David Ochoa and, according to reports, Julian Araujo. And, of course, the decision is intensely personal, and they should make whatever choice they want to make, and that's the truth. What I kind of hearing when each of these decisions are made is, oh, we don't need him. He's fifth. Excuse me. He's fifth or sixth on the depth chart. He's not that good. With young players, you don't know who's going to be good, right? Development, like I said, is not linear. Okay, they might not be the best today, but on that trajectory, 2 or 3 years from now, they might be really good. So I don't think we should write anybody off just yet, first of all. Second of all, I mean, Herc Gomez said it really well on his podcast with Scuffed. He said, the pull of being like a royalty in Mexico is not the same thing as the pull of, playing for the United States, and also the pull of the family, which I understand that, right? And I said it in my last video. I think we have to be better with our recruitment, and understanding that we start so behind the 8 ball with Mexican Americans because of cultural reasons and other reasons. And so I think we have to do a much better job at reaching out to the Hispanic Mexican American audience in this country. You go to any MLS game, right, in this country, go to most national team games, and at least 50% of the crowd is Hispanic or Mexican American. And U.S. soccer hasn't done, in my opinion, a good enough job of reaching out to them as stakeholders of the game in this country, which they are. The U.S., America, soccer in America is not where it is today without the Hispanic Mexican Americans, right, who love the game, who bring it from their culture. And I still think that we can do a better job of reaching out to them. And not just because we want their kids, but being more inclusive of them as stakeholders of the game. So the other problem, but Jackie, I'm not advocating for special treatment, right? I'm not saying we should give special treatment to anybody. I'm just saying we need to do a lot better job with our recruitment, right? And whatever that means, people have different ideas of what that means, okay? Part of the problem, too, is that Mexico is making promises I don't know if they can keep, and that's very hard for a young player to ignore, right? If you're like, oh, come to, we'll probably maybe let you come to a World Cup, and, that 18-year-old hears, oh, wow, World Cup, sure, and I'm not saying we should make those kind of promises, not at all, but you have to understand what we're up against. And so we have to, I think, be a lot better with, not just with recruitment, but with being more inclusive with the Mexican-American community, because I don't think we're doing enough. I mean, to me, that's obvious. When everything coming out of U.S. soccer is in English, there's no Spanish language Twitter account, there's no Spanish youth coaches, or very few. I just think we can be a lot better, guys. And look, individually, if we look at all these guys who are, defecting or whatever, going to Mexico, You could say, oh, he's no great loss and he's no great loss. But when Alex Alcala has to decide who he's going to represent, when he looks around and he sees all his Mexican-American guys like him have all gone to Mexico and there's nobody on the USMNT, then where do you think his decision is going to go, right? Very likely he's going to go with the people that he can relate to. And that's all of his, the Mexican and the Mexican-American guys are all playing for El Tri. So I'm not saying we have to win every battle, but we can't lose all of them. And right now, we're losing all of them, right? From Jonathan Gomez to Efra Alvarez to David Ochoa to Julian Araujo to God knows who else. So individuals on their own, yeah. You can, puff your chest out. We can say, oh, we didn't really need him. He's not that good, depth chart, whatever. And that's all true to a degree, probably. But in the overall, you're creating a trend. And that trend means when that elite player comes through and makes a decision, all the weight is on the other side of the border. And we can't have that situation. That's not going to work long term. So that's all I'm going to say about dual national recruitment, guys, because I'm not a dual national, first of all. So I only have my perspective, right? And second of all, I feel like I've talked myself blue in the face about this topic. Talk to Mexican Americans, or if you are a Mexican American, you probably have a better perspective on it than I do, or a more well-rounded perspective at least. So. All right, Nabuto. 11 Yanks. I remember a while ago you said you knew someone close to Jonathan Gomez who said he wants to play for the USMNT. Do you think that's still true? Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it's still true, but nothing is set in stone, right? And at some point, David Ochoa wanted to play for the U.S., but then Mexico went hard for a year on him, and a few other things happened in camp, and God knows what else happened, and he switched. So just because they want to right now doesn't mean they're going to long term. So, yeah, I'm optimistic about Jonathan Gomez, but with the amount of the trend that's happening right now, let's see. All right, Mike Irish says, I think USSF needs to hire recruiters from college football/basketball. It'd be immensely financially lucrative. Start winning the Mexican-American and the fan base will grow. I don't even think you need those recruiters, Mike. I think you need guys that they can relate to. I think you need coaches or people like Herc Gomez or, even a guy like Landon Donovan, who's hugely respected in Mexico, Hispanic Americans who understand what these kids are going through, who understand the whole thing of having one foot in each country, right? I don't know. A good recruiter may come in, but if he can't relate to the kids, to the family, and also, a recruiter is just a recruiter. Really what you need is somebody who's, in a position of power within the federation that can actually, you feel like, you're sending your best guy and not just a guy whose job is to recruit. That feels a little disingenuous, But yeah, I'm going to drop the dual national thing for now, guys, because I've said my piece on it and I've talked myself blue in the face. I think we can do a better job. That's really the long and short of it for me. All right. So what else is going on, guys, with you? I'll probably only be on for another 10 minutes or so, guys, because I'm still not quite at 100% yet. So I apologize if I'm not going to be able to do a full hour today, but by next Sunday, I should be fine. There has to be representation for Mexican Americans in the USMNT because we are the reason why the sport is growing in America. Yeah, like I said, Aaron, you're a huge part of it. Huge part of the game growing in this country. And the soccer culture / community in America is predominantly Mexican American or Hispanic. And if we don't recognize that, then we're playing a losing game. That's my opinion. And then you have white guys like me who just love the game. Hopefully we get to a time where everybody is into soccer in America. Gomez should be called into this World Cup qualifying roster. I agree, Frank. That's what I said, but a lot of people disagreed with me. They think it's special treatment. I actually think he's got a higher ceiling than some of the other guys playing right now. So I don't think that's special treatment. I think if you think he's got a higher ceiling, then it is advantageous or to your best advantage to bring him in now so that you can maintain him long term. That's not predatory in my opinion. Okay, if you just look at today, If you just look at right now around us, is he here or here? Sure. But part of building a program for the long term is understanding, where we are 2 or 3 or 4, years from now. And sometimes you have to make decisions. Any good program builder makes decisions with not just the short term in mind. There's a way to balance out the short term and the long term. So yeah, long and short of it is I agree with you, Frank. Efrain Martinez, imagine if Pete was stolen from us by Thailand. Unfortunately, I'm not eligible to represent Thailand because even though I'm born there, they don't give you citizenship. So no, I would not be eligible. Technically, I'm half Argentine though, so I would be eligible to represent Argentina, though I'm not sure they would want me. Austin Westbrook, any chance Haaland has an American grandfather? I don't think so. And he's already cap tied to Norway. So. Colin Steinbring, as a half Thai living in Thailand, we can use him. Do you remember Zico, Colin? It might be too long ago, but he was, when I was about 16, 17, they had this Thai striker, and he was so good because he didn't play in the Thai league. He played in like the Singaporean league for a little bit. I think he tried his luck in small, I think he tried to go to the Middle East. I don't remember him exactly, but Zico, he was like the David Beckham of the Thai, and they were crazy about him, but he was never that good. Yeah, Senamung, that's right. I remember him. Pete is Argentine and Filippo is Brazilian. Well, my biological father is Argentine. The dad who raised me is not. I am the product of a one-night stand, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. I'm actually it's kind of cool. Kitty sucks Senamung, Colin. Yeah, that's right. I remember him, Zico. All right. Gideon Perry says, would you rather a player play in MLS or a European league at an equivalent level of competition? I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer to that. If something is an equivalent level, but maybe it has other advantages, right? Maybe playing in the U.S. allows you to help grow the game here, and that's great, and help make MLS better, which is important for the future of soccer in this country. But on the other hand, playing in an equivalent league in Europe, you might get seen by more scouts. You might get exposed to a different culture in Europe, right? Which, both on and off the field. So the football culture of, the intensity and the pressure and the expectation. I mean, Reggie Cannon has talked extensively about that, going to Boa Vista, right? But, I just don't think it's a one size fits all. There's pros and cons to each, and they just have to decide what's best for them. Although generally speaking, I'm a fan of these guys going to Europe and testing themselves and exposing themselves to a different kind of pressure and a different pace of the game and a different football culture and having to adapt to living in a different place and learning a different language. That's always good for you as a human being, forget as a player. So generally speaking, if you have the chance to go, I say go, Also experiencing, promotion and relegation and the intensity that comes with that is like nothing else, guys. It's like nothing else. Nothing else at all. All right. Nice. USMNT having an impact with us dudes in Southeast Asia. Hey, that's awesome. All right. Scally is doing it in the Bund. Yeah, good for him, huh? It's really good to see Joe Scally coming out of nowhere. And there's going to be more of this, guys. Like, by the time 2026 happens, I don't think anybody's position is going to be safe. We're going to have so much talent, even Pulisic will be forced to fight for his spot on the USMNT. I really believe that. I don't think it's going to be forever. This just like we have 6 or 7 stars and everybody else is like playing catch up or just below them, I think we'll get to a point where we have 23 world-class players by 2026, and they're all at a very similar level. All right. Shrey Seth. Pete, how long did you live in India? I lived in India for 2008 to 2015, so good 7 years. I had a great time, Shrey, in India. I had the best time. One of the best experiences of my life. I had to adapt a lot. And the first year was rough. I was sick a lot, had a lot of stomach issues. But I made some of the best friends in my life over there. I had some of the coolest experiences. I got to travel all over. I got to help develop the game, teach young players from 5 years old all the way up to 18 years old. I got to India's like us now, right? Not at the US's level, but they're building a football culture from the ground up, right? So as kids there now have access to, European soccer. They watch European soccer and they want to emulate their heroes. They want to play soccer. And so they would come to our academy and, develop. They have no developmental culture there for that sport. Cricket is the big thing there, but they have the population to support it. And they have, they have a middle class, a burgeoning middle class in India, which can support the game. And they have the passion. So I'm looking forward to seeing India get better. They still have a lot of issues with corruption and other things, but there's hope for India. I'd love to see them at a World Cup one day. And I had the best time of my life, Shrey. I'd love to chat with you sometime about it because I miss so much about India, honestly. All right, Michael Garrison. 3 best under 23 keepers in your opinion for the USMNT. Ooh, that's hard. I'd say Chituru Odunze for sure. He's right up there. Tomas Romero is one to look at, the LAFC keeper, dual national as well, I think with El Salvador, but wants to represent the U.S. Third one. I honestly don't know. Could be CJ Dos Santos, but I haven't seen him play in a long time. Damian Las. Gabriel Slonina, who plays for Chicago Fire, made his debut at 17 years old. So there's definitely options. It's not like we don't have young keepers coming through. Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. is the future of USMNT. I think it's unlikely he's going to represent the US, Roshat, but you never know. All right, Austin Westbrook. Just booked my tickets to the Nashville qualifier. Awesome, Austin. Is that for Canada, right? Home game against Canada. That's going to be cool. Oh, Nabuto. I'm Indian American. Nabuto, were you born and raised in India or were you born here in the US? And what's that? That difference must be quite fun. Because a lot of the kids that I coached in India too were born in the US. They were Indian kids who were born in the US. Maybe their parents were working here or something. And then they moved back home and their kid was like 3 or 4. And, they all loved soccer. So it was actually really, in fact, I have a kid who I trained for about 5 years. He just got accepted to the Barcelona Academy in Arizona. His name is Varun. I'm super proud of him for working so hard to get to where he's at. And he is a really cool dude. And I'm going to probably try to do a video with him one day because it's just a super cool story, Sergio Skywalker, as a Mex-American, I just want a Mex America on the level like Pulisic, and I believe Ledesma is that player. Even Pepe. We need to call them versus Mex friendly. Are we playing a friendly with Mexico? I don't think we are. I think our next friendly is in December, Sergio. But I would love to see them both. There's an element of they have to earn it too, especially if you're talking about World Cup qualifying. But you can still bring them in. If the roster is 28 or 29 guys, you can still have 1 or 2 guys that maybe aren't ready to start yet, but who you believe are, part of the program long term. Nabuto, man, I'm born and raised in the United States, but my parents came from India. They were born and raised in India. That's cool. Which part of India, Nabuto? I traveled all over India. There's very few places I didn't go. So I'd love to hear where. By the way, traveling around India by train was awesome. Okay. This is also, why do you think China isn't a footballing superpower with their money, soccer schools, and population? Well, it takes time, right? The problem is that they invested a lot of that money in overpriced superstars to come play in their league. But recently they've made changes to that and they've invested more money in youth development. So that's going to take time, right? Like we started our development academy in 2007, right? And only now are we really starting to reap the benefits of it. So it's 10 to 15 years before we, actually see the benefits of that. And I think we will see it in 10 to 15 years long term, but it takes time. It takes time. It doesn't, soccer development is not an overnight process. It takes doing the right thing, the right practice, the right focus on development for 10 to 15 to 20 years, and then you start to see some fruits. And you have to be patient in the meantime and not freak out and switch it around because you don't think it's working. Know what you're doing for sure, but stick with it. When you know what you're doing and you're confident in the process, you're confident in the knowledge, you're confident in the practice of what you're trying to do, then you got to stick with it. Paul Monroy, do you think Costa Rica will be our hardest away World Cup qualifying game? No matter how good, bad they are, we've never won there in qualifier. I don't think they're going to be our hardest. No, I think Jamaica, Canada, and Mexico will be our hardest. Yeah, you're right, though, Paul. In the past, it was one of our hardest, and we haven't won there. But this Costa Rica team is aging. It's like Mexico, except they're not as good. They're an old team, and they're not developing the right young players. So I think they're going to struggle in World Cup qualifying, and we should find a way to beat them away, I think, because they're not that good. They're very, very beatable. It's an aging team. They're not who they used to be, and they haven't developed, the quality of player that matters compared to the guys that they've had for the last 10 to 15 years or so. Shrey Set. Hey, Pete, I'm Indian American. I'm born and raised here, but my family and I usually go there every 3 to 4 years. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. All right. This is from Josie. Josie33. If Reyna has a solid season in Bundesliga and Champions League, do you think he moves to the Prem? Also, good seeing you, my guy. Thanks, Josie. I hope so. I think it's possible. He's been there a year and a half. So yeah, if he's there for if he really balls out, if he goes 10-10 and makes that number 10/8 position his own, then yeah, why not? I can totally see it, I think eventually he will end up in the Premier League for sure. I think that's where his dad played. He's American. He speaks English. For a lot of American kids, the Premier League is the holy grail. It's like if you go to South America, Barcelona and Real Madrid, La Liga is the sort of the holy grail. But Premier League is, for American kids, it's because that's the one a lot of them watched growing up, right? Altador doing super chat. All right. What else? Pete, do you know who's Josh Drack? I have no idea, Jordan. No idea. Christian, here's an interesting one. You ever think there will be an international Champions League like worldwide? I don't know. Maybe. The problem is levels, right? They've already expanded the Club World Cup, but if the European team wins it almost every time and the levels are so different, it's not going to be a fun competition. Maybe if the US and Mexico get better, right? South American teams, the problem is money. They can't spend money, so they'll never be able to compete with Europe. Nobody really will, I don't think. Maybe China one day, maybe India, but not anytime soon, Christian, for sure. There's just, the competition is not interesting. It's not fun because it's not competitive. The European teams will always be better, All right. Roberto, Pete, who do you think will perform better this season? Pulisic or Reyna? Weston or Adams? Dest or Musa? Sargent or Weah? Pulisic or Reyna? Better is hard to say because they're going to be playing very different roles and kind of at different levels. But I think that Reyna is going to be better than Pulisic this year. Just my guess. Weston or Adams? Weston has a tough job now. He didn't start the opening, for Juventus. He may have a tough time convincing Massimo Allegri that he should start, but that's the beauty of playing at that level. Every time a new coach comes in, you've got to earn their trust and you've got to fight for a spot. And you've got to overcome their biases. And every day in training, you have to prove that you're better than all the other guys on the field and that you deserve to start. And that is what playing at the highest level means. So, it'll be interesting to see how Adams does. Didn't have the best game today, but I'm not too worried about Adams. He's got the mentality to up his game again. Dest or Musa? I'm going to say Dest. Sargent or Weah? I'm going to say Sargent. I don't think Weah hasn't exactly progressed in the last year and a half. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Tim Weah's development. He tends to go. He started for Lille, and he tends to go missing a lot in games When he's on the ball, he's okay, but he's often hiding. He's not always in the right place. And I just don't know long-term what that's going to do for his development. All right. 4, 2, 3, 1. Dest, Richards, Brooks, Robinson. Adams, McKennie, Pulisic, Reyna, Conrad, Hoppy. Yeah, I would absolutely love to see that, or a Sargent up top. I'm not sure how Conrad will do on the right, but I'd love to see it for sure. Yeah, Pulisic on the left with Conrad. Maybe I'd probably start way on the right. Maybe I just think he's a little more vertical than Conrad, but Conrad offers a lot too. Conrad, I'll have to see him on the right. He didn't look very good for the under-20s on the right. I think he's better cutting onto his right hand, his right foot. Okay. Do you think competing in CONCACAF has hurt Mexico over the decades? Also, do you see a merger between CONCACAF and CONMEBOL in the future? I don't see a merger for sure. Merging is very unlikely. I don't think so. I can see collaboration. So I can see like us going to play in Copa America, not all of us, but, Mexico, the US, maybe Canada. But I can't see them merging. I'm sure to a degree it's hurt Mexico because they've been, the best for so long, and that's made them a little lackadaisical with their development processes. But I think more than that, I think Liga MX's refusal to sell players and hold them hostage in Mexico has hurt them more than anything, because they're not getting to Europe young enough, and so they're stagnating in Mexico, right? That's why you look at a lot of the young guys that, El Tri fans are like, oh, Charlie Rodriguez, Luis Romo, Uriel Antuna, Sebastian Cordova, Alexis Vega. It's like, okay, Cesar Montes, they're all still in Mexico, and they're 23, 24, 25 years old. They're not young anymore. So part of that is on them. They're making good money in Mexico, and they can't make that money in Europe, at least not at the levels they're being recruited. But part of it is also Liga MX's clubs don't want to sell them, or they overprice them. So people say, I can get better value somewhere else. I can go north of the border and get Tanner Tessmann for a few mil, at 18, 19 years old, and this guy's got resale value. Or I can sign Weston McKennie or Josh Sargent or Richie Ledesma for free. No risk, Best USMNT 11 of all time. Puli already top 5? Yes. Puli's in the starting lineup for sure, in my opinion, at least. All right, guys. Yeah, that's Sergio. Did I miss yours? I'm sorry. Oh, I missed a super chat. Was that Sergio's super chat that I missed? I apologize if I did. Yeah, this is a good one. Christian Cox. You saw Jesse Marsch opening game. Leipzig didn't look too good. Oh, guys. Yeah, he didn't look very good, but it's one game. Let's wait and see what happens. We've got a word from our sponsor here. On the One Football app is running a special giveaway for the MLS All-Star game on the 25th of August, featuring the MLS All-Stars versus the Liga MX All-Stars. You could win one official MLS All-Stars jersey that is all yours. You just got to follow these 4 simple steps, guys. Click on the link below, download the One Football app, copy and paste the headline of the first article you see into the app. Tell us who is going to win and why you think they're going to win that game, and enter your details. Do that, and you will be entered to win one MLS All-Star jersey, guys. It's a great jersey. You don't want to miss out. Get going on the link below. So, yeah, free MLS All-Star jersey, guys. You'll be entered in if you download the One Football app and answer those questions. All right, last question or two, and then I'm going to pop off, guys. Chances Triple G starts Leggett, Zardes, Acosta, or any other Gold Cup player against El Salvador? Oh, very high. I'd say Leggett's probably starting against El Salvador. Acosta, I doubt will start if Adams is healthy. Possibility could start Miles Robinson next to John Brooks. I mean, I'm rooting for Chris Richards, but Robinson certainly did enough to earn a start. You never know. He might choose Matt Turner. I think I'm still likely think he's going to go with Zach Steffen, but he could start Matt Turner. Reggie Cannon, maybe. He goes Dest on the left, Reggie Cannon on the right. He could start Zardes over Sargent. It's Berhalter, but definitely a few. At least Leggett, and then possibly 2 or 3 more. Let's see. Custom G. Hit the like button. Yes, guys. If you haven't already, smash that like button so other people can find Yule rumored to Bayern. That's hilarious. Did you guys see a rumor of Jonathan Lewis going to the second division in Spain? I just thought that was hilarious. It didn't happen, and I knew it wasn't going to, but I was like, he's not even good enough for Olympic qualifying. He's definitely not good enough for the Spanish second division. Trust me. Ray Puma, you heard what happened to Leget's sister. Yes, I did. That was really sad. Poor guy. I hope he gets his time to recover from something like. I've lost 2 sisters in the last couple of years, and so I know what he's going through. That really sucks. Poor guy. I hope LA Galaxy is giving him all the time he needs to grieve and to do what he has to do. That crew connection between Berhalter and Steffen reigns over MLS connection. Probably, Kyle. DMAC, can you rate Steffen's performance last week? I didn't actually see the game, DMAC. I was in the middle of a high fever when that game was happening, so I didn't actually get to see it. I didn't watch Venezia either, Taylor. I can't watch every game, guys. I can't. I don't have that time. And they're overlapping games. I can only watch one or two at a time at most. So, yeah, I didn't see him, but maybe somebody who saw Steffen play in the chat can give us just a quick rundown of what they thought. If somebody puts, what they thought of Steffen's performance, who actually watched it, I'll put it up on the screen so other people can see it too. All right. No worries, guys. Thank you for the condolences. I'm okay now. It was, 2017, I think, that I lost the last sister, and the other one was a while ago. So it wasn't too recently, but it never really goes away. It always kind of stays with you. Steffen was awesome. Okay, well, that's good to know. So we have a Steffen was awesome. Kyle Wooston says, Zach Steffen was solid, made a really great save. Christian Koch says, Steffen's played good, looked composed, and only let in a penalty. Awesome. How was his distribution with his feet? Because that's been a little iffy recently. Wuxia Games Central. You think Horvath will get to play soon after 2 losses? I hope so. The guy Bryce Samba made a bad mistake in the first game, and I didn't watch the second game, but I saw that he was the lowest rated player on FOTMob. So that's probably not a good thing. He conceded 2 more goals. All right, guys, I'm going to probably sign off here, but thanks for coming to hang out. And it's good to be back. It's good to be doing live streams again. We'll go back to our regular schedule of Wednesday and Sunday, like live hangouts on Sunday. With probably, I'm going to start adding a few other videos, maybe just random live hangouts or games, like hang out during a game, watch alongs rather. So yeah, I'm going to be driving back to Los Angeles tomorrow. You'll get a video Wednesday, and then Wednesday's videos is mine and Filippo going over the World Cup roster, not the qualifying roster, the World Cup roster. And we did this 3 months ago, and we gave our predictions. And now 3 months later, we're looking at those predictions and seeing what we would change and seeing if, as the roster evolves, right? Every 3 months, we're going to do this. We're going to tweak our rosters and tell you guys what we think is going to happen. So guys, thanks for coming to hang. It was awesome having all 400 of you. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, do it before you leave. You guys are awesome, and I'll talk to you soon.